My 16-year-old stepdaughter falsely accused me of SA after I caught her doing drugs with her adult boyfriend. My wife believed her and called the police, so I took my brutal revenge. Sup, Reddit? I've never thought I would be sharing this drama on Reddit, or that this would happen to me, but here we are. I, 40 male, have been married to Colette, 39 female, for 10 years. Met her at a friend's wedding when I was 29 and still driving a forklift. She was a bridesmaid. I was working coat check as a favor. Talked for 3 hours straight while everyone else danced. Married 14 months later. She had a 5-year-old daughter from a previous relationship, Delaney. 16 now, high school junior, starting setter on varsity volleyball. The kid I helped raise since kindergarten, taught to ride a bike, drove to science fairs and practices. Colette's ex hasn't been in the picture since Delaney was 3. Never adopted her legally, but raised her like my own. Present, involved, all in. One thing about Colette, she's always defaulted to believing Delaney first. Carries guilt about the bio dad disappearing when Delaney was a toddler. Overcompensates. Never been a problem. Until it was. Thursday afternoon, March 2023. Changed everything. Left work early. Grabbed pad thai and spring rolls. Drove home thinking about a quiet evening. Pulled into the driveway at 3:45. Colette's car wasn't there. Book club didn't start until 6. Set the food on the counter. Then I heard it. Music from the basement. And voices. Delaney's voice. And a guy's voice. Deep. Way too deep for any high school kid. Delaney wasn't supposed to have anyone over when we weren't home. Basic rule since she turned 15. We're not home. You're not hosting. Started down the basement stairs. Music got louder. Then I smelled it. Weed. Strong. Recent. Bottom of the stairs. Found Delaney on the couch next to some shirtless guy wearing gym shorts. No shirt, no shoes. Just sitting there half-dressed with my 16-year-old stepdaughter. This wasn't some high school boyfriend. Full sleeve tattoo running down his left arm. Stubble. Looked mid-20s at least. Maybe older. Grown man with a minor in my basement. On the coffee table, grinder, rolling papers, marijuana. They both froze. Delaney's face went white. The guy, Tate, scrambled for his shirt. Get out of my house, now. Tate grabbed his shirt. Look, man, it's not what it looks like. Stepped toward him. Got right in his face. You're what, 25? 26? Sitting here half naked doing drugs with a teenager in my basement? You've got 10 seconds before I drag you out by your throat. He tried to say something else. I cut him off. 8 seconds. He saw I wasn't bluffing. Grabbed his shoes and ran up the stairs. I followed. Watched him fumble with the front door, practically fall onto the porch. Door slammed. Tires squealing seconds later. Back downstairs. Delaney was still on the couch, mascara running, trying to cover herself with a throw blanket even though she was fully clothed. Crying now. Dad, please. Don't. It's just weed. Everyone does it. And Tate's not that much older. He's a grown man doing drugs with you in my house while we're not home. Do you have any idea how dangerous that is? Nothing was going to happen. We were just hanging out. Just hanging out? Half naked? With drugs on the table? Her face twisted. Something ugly behind the tears. Pure venom. You can't tell me what to do. You're not even my real dad. 10 years. 10 years of being there for every scraped knee, every bad grade, every heartbreak. She threw that in my face like it was nothing. I hate you, she spat. You just ruined my life. Tate's never going to talk to me again. Everyone at school is going to find out. I hate you. Stayed calm. Didn't yell back. Clean up your mess. We'll talk when your mother gets home. Upstairs. Sat at the kitchen table staring at the Thai food getting cold. Colette got home at 4:30. Saw my truck, looked confused through the window. What are you doing home early? Sit down. We need to talk about Delaney. Footsteps pounded up from the basement. Delaney came running in, tears streaming, face red and blotchy. Threw herself at Colette like she was 5 years old again. Mom! Whatever he says, it's not true. He's lying. Colette looked at me over Delaney's shoulder. What's going on? I came home early and found Delaney in the basement with, he's lying! Don't believe him. There's marijuana on the coffee table right now, grinder, rolling papers, everything. And there was a grown man down there with her. Mid-20s at least. Half naked. I kicked him out. Colette looked down at Delaney. Is that true? Delaney was sobbing now, full body shaking. Then Colette's expression changed. Her eyes dropped to Delaney's arm. Bruises. 4 distinct finger marks on her upper arm, already starting to purple, where Tate had grabbed her when they scrambled off the couch. What is that? Colette's voice went ice cold. She grabbed Delaney's wrist, examined the bruises. What happened? Delaney's eyes went wide. I saw it in real time. The wheels turning. The calculation. The decision forming as she looked at those bruises and then at me. He grabbed me, she whispered. After Tate left. Got in my face. Said he was going to teach me a lesson. Made threats. Touched me in ways that weren't okay. My stomach dropped. That's not what happened. Colette, that's not... The slap came out of nowhere. Colette's hand across my face. Hard enough to turn my head. Hard enough to make my ear ring. Don't you touch my daughter. I didn't touch her. Those marks are from her boyfriend. From when they heard me coming downstairs. Get away from us. Colette was backing up, pulling Delaney behind her. Get out. This is my house. I'm telling you the truth. 10 years, Colette. You know me better than this. She wasn't listening. Already dialing. I heard her talking to 911. Heard her say assault. Heard her say stepdaughter. Heard her give our address. I sat down at the kitchen table and waited. Police arrived 20 minutes later. 2 officers, male and female. Both had that look. The one cops get responding to a domestic call involving a minor. The male officer separated me immediately. Asked me outside. Professional, firm. The female officer stayed inside. He didn't cuff me. Not yet. But he wasn't friendly either. Kept his distance, hand near his belt. Sir, we've received a report of assault involving a minor. What happened? I explained. Coming home early, hearing voices, finding Delaney with an adult boyfriend. Mid-20s, tattoos, stubble, doing drugs, marijuana on the coffee table, kicking him out, the confrontation, telling her to clean up, walking away. You never made physical contact with your stepdaughter? Never. 10 years, and I've never laid a hand on her. Why would I start now over marijuana? Then explain the bruises. Her boyfriend grabbed her when they heard me coming. I was still on the stairs. By the time I got down there, she was rubbing her arm and he looked guilty. He wrote everything down. Then asked the question that changed everything. Any way to prove your version? Any witnesses? Evidence? That's when I remembered. There's a security camera in the basement. I installed it 3 years ago after a break-in attempt. Wide angle. Covers the whole room. Uploads to cloud storage automatically. His eyebrows went up. The basement has a camera? Yes. Mounted in the corner. Covers the couch area. Does anyone else know about this camera? My wife knows. Whether Delaney remembers, I couldn't tell you. It's been 3 years. Would you provide access to that footage? Absolutely. Right now. Pulled out my phone. Opened the app. Typed my password. Account locked. Too many failed login attempts. Problem? He asked. Someone tried to log in. Accounts locked. I need to reset through email verification. Checked my email. Nothing from the security company. The reset email goes to our shared family account, the one Colette manages. He clocked it. I can contact the provider directly. They can pull the original upload. Everything time-stamped and authenticated. We'll need to seize recording devices as evidence. You'll get them back, but we need the chain of custody clean. Take whatever you need. He asked for the boyfriend's description. Tate, mid-20s, 6 foot, maybe 6'1", full sleeve tattoo on his left arm, skulls and roses, stubble, drove a black Honda Civic, older model. They took my phone, took the camera hub, bagged everything with evidence tags. From inside, muffled voices, then something that sounded like a chair scraping, then silence. The officer came back out with his partner. Expression hadn't shifted. Mr. Keller, given the allegation and the physical evidence on the minor, we need you to come to the station. Am I being arrested? Detained for questioning. Standard procedure when there's a minor involved. They didn't cuff me in front of my neighbors. Put me in the back of the cruiser anyway. Watched my house get smaller in the rear view. Colette standing in the doorway with Delaney. Neither looked at the car. Spent the night in a holding cell. Not charged, not released. Just held. Pending investigation. They let me go at 7 a.m. Released pending evidence review. No charges filed. Yet. You'll hear from our detective division once we've reviewed the footage. Could take a couple weeks. Don't leave town. Child services called 2 days later. Caseworker. Professional voice, neutral tone. Mr. Keller, we need to schedule a home visit regarding the police report. Are you available next Thursday? I'm staying at my parents' house. Pause. We need access to the residence and we need to speak with Delaney and your wife. They're still at the house. I can be there Thursday. 2 p.m. She explained they'd requested the footage through the police department. Standard procedure. 10 to 14 days minimum. I have a camera. I have proof. Why does that take 2 weeks? Protocol, Mr. Keller. The footage needs to be authenticated, verified against timestamps, reviewed by multiple parties. So now I was limiting contact with the kid I'd raised since she was 5. Wednesday morning, my boss called me into her office. Someone from HR was there. We received a call from someone concerned about a situation at your home, involving a minor. My stomach dropped. There's no formal complaint. But given the allegation, HR wants to put you on administrative leave pending resolution. I didn't do anything. There's footage? We understand, but we can't risk the liability exposure. The optics alone, she trailed off. The HR rep picked up. It's paid leave, initially, but the promotion you were up for, regional coordinator, we've decided to move forward with another candidate, given the uncertainty. 13 years with the company. Never missed a deadline. Never had a complaint. Lost a promotion I'd been working toward for 2 years. Walked out carrying a box like I'd just been fired. Called a lawyer from the parking lot. First guy with good reviews who specialized in family law. Booked solid. Earliest appointment, 3 weeks out. I begged. He squeezed me in for the following Friday. That afternoon, Colette texted. The locks are changed. For Delaney's safety. Your stuff is in the garage. 10 years of marriage. Change the locks. Then the second text. I've filed for an emergency protective order. You'll be served tomorrow. Don't come near the house or Delaney. She beat me to it. Filed first. Put me on defense before I even had a lawyer. Screenshotted both texts. Forwarded them to my personal email. Saved the timestamps. My buddy Dave called that night. Sounded uncomfortable. Hey man, I heard what's going on. It's not true, Dave. There's camera footage. I know. Look, it's just, Hazel's sister works at Delaney's school. There's talk. I believe you, but Hazel thinks maybe we should keep some distance. Until everything's cleared up. Friends pick sides. When the accusation involves a kid, most people don't wait for evidence. Thursday. Emergency protective order hearing. Showed up with a legal aid attorney. My actual lawyer couldn't see me until the following week. Young, nervous, clearly in over his head. Colette was there with her own attorney. Sharp suit. Looked like she ate depositions for breakfast. The judge reviewed the filing. Bruises on a minor. Allegation of inappropriate contact. Request for exclusive possession and no contact order. My attorney tried explaining the camera. Judge cut him off mid-sentence. Counsel, is this footage currently available? It's being authenticated, Your Honor. So it's not available today? No, but then I can't consider it. He turned to Colette's attorney and asked about the bruises, about Delaney's statement, about my behavior. I sat watching my life get picked apart by hearsay. My attorney kept putting his hand on my arm every time I tried speaking. The judge granted a temporary protective order. 14 days. Barred from the house. Barred from contact with Delaney. Barred from Colette except through attorneys. This is temporary pending further evidence. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks. 2 more weeks of being treated like a predator. 2 more weeks sleeping at my parents' house. 2 more weeks in limbo. Home visit happened the following Thursday. Showed up at 1:45. Had to ring the bell like a stranger. Had to have my attorney there as chaperone. Colette answered. Didn't look at me. Stepped aside when the caseworker pulled up. She walked through the house with her tablet, taking notes. Asked to see the basement. Showed them the corner where the camera had been mounted. Empty bracket now. Is it always recording? Was. Continuous loop. 30 days of storage. Installed it after a break-in attempt 3 years ago. She made notes. Then asked to speak with Delaney alone. Colette and I waited in the kitchen. Didn't look at each other. Didn't speak. When she finished, she came back. Professionally neutral. We've submitted our request for the footage. Should be within the next few days. There was a technical issue with some timestamps that needed verification. My heart stopped. Technical issue? Nothing alarming. The footage exists. Just taking longer to authenticate. She left. Delaney came downstairs about an hour later. Saw me at the table with my attorney. Stopped in the doorway. We just looked at each other. The kid I'd raised for 10 years. The camera, she said flatly. I forgot about the camera. Something cold settled in my chest. I know you did. She grabbed her backpack and left for volleyball practice. My lawyer's office. Finally. Small space above a dry cleaner, but solid reputation. Mid-50s. Sharp suit. Firm handshake. Laid out everything. The basement incident. The drugs. The adult boyfriend. The false accusation. The slap. The night in holding. Child services. The HR meeting. The lost promotion. Colette changing the locks. The anonymous call to my employer. The emergency protective order. All of it. He listened without interrupting. Took notes. The footage. That's everything. If it shows what you say, you're clear. If it doesn't exist or got corrupted, you're looking at a different situation. It exists. Cloud storage. They have it. Then let's get it. He made calls. Proper legal channels. Subpoena for the authenticated footage. Request to police for copies of all evidence. 3 days later, he called. Voice tight. We have a problem. What kind of problem? The footage has a gap. About 20 seconds, right around 3:45 p.m. Wi-Fi blip, camera buffering, something technical. 20 seconds. The exact window when I confronted Tate. Does it clear me or not? Complicated. The footage clearly shows Tate grabbing Delaney's arm before you even reach the bottom of the stairs. That's documented. But the gap happens right after, during your confrontation. Then it picks back up with you standing 4 feet away, hands at your sides, not touching her. So it proves It proves the bruises came from Tate, strongly suggests you never touched her. But the gap gives the other side something to argue about. 20 seconds of corrupted data. What do? We go on offense. The gap doesn't help them much. The timestamps tell the story. And I've got other moves to make. My lawyer pulled out a legal pad and started writing. First thing, did you ever legally adopt Delaney? No. Good. Simplifies everything. No custody, no child support, just asset division. What about the house? You bought it before the marriage? 3 years before. Paid it off during the marriage, but the deed's in my name. Premarital property. Strong position. He wrote something down. We're filing for divorce. But before that, we're filing something else. He leaned forward. Illinois Domestic Violence Act defines abuse to include harassment and physical battery. Your wife struck you. That's battery. Locked you out of your own premarital home and filed for a protective order based on her daughter's false statement. We're filing our own order of protection. Counter petition. She already has one against me. Temporary. Based on an allegation the footage substantially undermines. Ours is based on documented battery she can't deny. The slap happened. How fast can we move? Her temporary order expires in 6 days. We file tomorrow, request consolidated hearing, present the footage, let the judge see Tate grabbing Delaney's arm at 3:44 p.m. Let him see you standing 4 feet away with your hands down at 3:47 p.m. He kept going. Second, she's a minor. Filing a false police report is serious. But the state's attorney doesn't like charging juveniles hard. They'll probably offer diversion, community service, counseling, probation. Don't expect a felony conviction. That's it? That's the system. But we don't need the criminal system to deliver consequences. We need documentation. What do you mean? I want a formal written recantation, signed by Delaney, notarized, filed with the police department that took the original report, filed with the school district, filed with child services. I want it on the record, in multiple places, that she lied. Will she agree? She will when we make it a condition of not pursuing civil claims against her mother. Colette's the one with assets. We make the recantation the price of walking away. He made another note. Third, the order of protection we're seeking. No contact provisions, third-party contact bans. She can't send her mother, can't send friends, can't have anyone reach out. Complete isolation. And the HR situation? The anonymous call? My lawyer smiled. You said I'd traced it to her office network? They mentioned it. IP came from her office building during business hours. That's defamation. Tortious interference with employment. Potentially separate harassment count. We add it to the civil complaint. He made another note. By the time I'm done, every lie becomes a sworn fact with consequences. I don't want revenge in private. I want it documented. He nodded slowly. Then we make everything go on the record. Deposition transcripts, sworn affidavits, exhibits. The humiliation isn't the money. It's that they have to sign their lies into history. He quoted me a retainer. $5,500. I wrote the check before he finished talking. Consolidated hearing. 3 weeks after the basement incident. Both protective order petitions on the docket. Hers against me. Mine against her. My lawyer had the footage queued up. Authenticated. Time-stamped. Ready. Colette's attorney tried arguing the gap. Made a big deal about those 20 seconds. What could have happened? Reasonable doubt. My lawyer let her finish. Then played the footage. 3:30 p.m. Delaney and Tate on the couch. Drugs coming out. Smoking. 3:44 p.m. Both hear something. Tate grabs Delaney's arm hard. She winces. His fingers dig in. Time-stamped, documented. 3:45:12 p.m. Gap starts. Screen freezes. 3:45:34 p.m. Gap ends. I'm standing 4 feet away. Hands at my sides. She's on the couch. I never get closer. 3:47 p.m. I turn and walk upstairs. Your Honor, my lawyer said, the gap is 22 seconds. My client would have had to cross the room, assault his stepdaughter badly enough to leave bruises, return to his original position, and compose himself completely, all while the footage before and after shows him behaving calmly and maintaining distance. The bruises are already visible at 3:44 p.m., before my client even reaches the basement floor. The gap is irrelevant. The judge watched the footage twice, asked questions about timestamps, about chain of custody. The judge looked at Delaney and asked if she wanted to correct her statement under oath. She didn't say a word. Then he ruled. The petitioner's request for a permanent protective order against Mr. Keller is denied. The evidence clearly establishes that the bruises occurred before Mr. Keller's alleged contact. He turned to our petition. The respondent's counterpetition is granted on a temporary basis. The evidence of battery, the slap, is undisputed. Mr. Keller is granted temporary exclusive possession of the marital residence pending divorce proceedings. However, this is not guaranteed long-term. We'll revisit at the final hearing. Temporary, not permanent, but enough. Colette's face went white. Delaney started crying. Sheriff's deputy knocked 4 days later. I was standing behind him on the sidewalk. Colette opened the door, saw the uniform, saw me. Ma'am, I have a temporary order of protection requiring you and any other occupants to vacate this residence. You have 2 hours to gather essential items under supervision. This is my home. I'm his wife. The deputy didn't blink. Not today, ma'am. You have 2 hours. Delaney came downstairs during the chaos, saw the deputy, saw the paperwork, looked at me through the window. I stood on the sidewalk with my hands in my pockets. 2 hours later, they were loading suitcases into Colette's Honda. Delaney crying. Colette on her phone trying to find somewhere to stay. The deputy handed me back my house keys. All clear, sir. I walked back into my own house, stood in the entryway for a moment, then went to the kitchen and made a sandwich. First meal in my own house in almost a month. The divorce wasn't fast or clean. My lawyer filed the petition and attached everything. The false accusation, the footage, the battery, the lockout, the defamation to my employer. Colette hired a lawyer, guy who specialized in high-conflict divorces. First move, requesting a continuance. Judge granted it. Docket updated at 9:12 a.m. Continued. Of course it did. 3 weeks crawled by, then her lawyer filed another motion. This one to exclude the footage. Chain of custody whining. Big speech about the gap being unreliable. My lawyer texted me from the courthouse parking lot. We're fighting it. He won, but it cost 2 more weeks and another courtroom day. Then came the temporary spousal support request. She'd been forced out. Rent was impossible. She needed help yesterday. My lawyer stapled the video to our response, stapled the order of protection, stapled HRIT logs showing the office workstation, the timestamp, all of it. The judge denied support, said the misconduct was documented, and the main asset was premarital, so no. I shut down the family ATM. New account, direct deposit rerouted. I paid only what the court ordered, nothing. I also locked down the 529. I opened it when Delaney was little, and it was in my name because I was the account owner. Colette always talked like it was Delaney's money, but the paperwork didn't care about her feelings. My lawyer had me freeze access immediately and change the beneficiary to me. Not to cash it out, not to do anything stupid, just to make sure nobody could treat it like a consolation prize after trying to brand me as a predator. No withdrawal, no taxes, no penalty, just a hard stop. After the divorce was final and my life stopped being a courtroom screensaver, I left it parked. And when Elise got pregnant, I opened a new 529 for the baby. Once he's born and has a social security number, the balance transfers over. Same education money, new kid, no liars attached. My lawyer added counts to the civil complaint: battery for the slap, intentional infliction of emotional distress for the false accusation scheme, defamation for the calls to my employer, tortious interference with employment. Each count required responses, depositions, sworn statements. The depositions were brutal. Colette had to sit there, under oath, and answer questions about the slap, about the 911 call, about changing the locks, about the anonymous call to my employer. Every answer documented, every lie locked into the record. Delaney's deposition was worse. 16 years old, sitting across from my lawyer, having to admit she'd lied, that she'd seen the bruises and made a calculation, that she'd accused me of assault because she was angry. The court reporter typed every word. The videographer recorded every expression. All of it admissible. All of it permanent. Colette's lawyer tried negotiating a settlement 4 times. Each time, my lawyer's response: "My client isn't interested in money. He's interested in documentation." Police forwarded the case to the state's attorney 8 weeks after the footage was authenticated. The state offered diversion. Delaney would complete a program, community service, counseling, educational sessions. Complete it successfully. Charge dismissed. No felony. No record. My lawyer told them diversion was fine, but only if the recantation became part of the file. They agreed once they realized we weren't letting the lie survive on paper. Delaney signed the recantation in the state's attorney's office. 3 pages, every detail. Witnessed by 2 attorneys and a notary. Copies sent to the police department. Copies sent to the school district. Copies sent to child services. A week later, the caseworker sent a closure notice. Unsubstantiated, case closed. The school fallout was already happening. Delaney had been suspended from the volleyball team. Athletic director cited drug policy violations and conduct concerns. The recantation added integrity issues to her file. My lawyer had sent a factual documentation packet to the school district, police report, notice of the diversion program, the signed recantation, offer to provide video if requested. Schools are terrified of liability. Within 3 weeks, recruiters backed off. Scholarship discussions frozen indefinitely. HR situation took longer. Even after the footage cleared me, they made me sit out another 2 weeks. Policy review. Policy. When I finally came back, the promotion was gone. Given to someone else. Business needs. Couldn't prove it was related, but I knew. Then the IT director mentioned something else. We can verify the call came from a specific workstation. If you need that for legal purposes, we can provide documentation. My lawyer added it to the civil complaint the same day. Now we had proof, not just IP address, but specific workstation logs, that Colette had used her employer's resources during business hours to send defamatory communications about me. Her employer found out 3 weeks later. She was terminated for misuse of company resources. Tate never surfaced. Police put out a notice, but he disappeared. Didn't matter. The footage showed his hand on her arm. Colette's leverage evaporated piece by piece. No job, no house, no court-ordered support, a civil lawsuit requiring sworn depositions admitting what she'd done. A daughter in a diversion program with a signed recantation on file in 3 government systems. Her lawyer came to the table 4 months in with a settlement offer. $50,000 from house appreciation. Spousal support for 2 years. Civil claims dropped. My lawyer's counter. $20,000 for appreciation. No spousal support. Civil claims dropped against Colette only, in exchange for continued cooperation, ensuring Delaney completed her diversion program and a signed acknowledgement that the civil claims had merit. They pushed back. My lawyer scheduled more depositions, made clear we were prepared to go to trial on every count and make the transcripts public record. Final terms came 2 weeks later. $20,000 buyout, no spousal support, mutual releases on civil claims. Colette signed a non-disparagement agreement. Any future defamatory statements would trigger liquidated damages of $50,000. The order of protection was made permanent. Exclusive possession of the residence. No contact provisions. Third-party contact bans. She couldn't send flying monkeys. Complete separation legally enforced. Delaney completed her diversion program 5 months later. The criminal charge was dismissed as agreed, but the recantation stayed on file. The school records stayed updated. The child services file stayed closed with documentation of the false allegation. The judge signed off on the divorce 6 months after filing. First thing after the divorce, spent $40,000 on renovations. Gutted the basement, ripped out that couch, donated it to Goodwill. New flooring, new drywall, fresh paint, built a home gym where the seating area used to be. Squat rack, bench press, heavy bag in the corner, kept the security cameras, upgraded them. Exterior coverage, common areas, cloud backup with my own dedicated account, multiple redundancy, no more gaps. Changed my phone number, new number only went to people who earned it. Routine settled in. Up at 5. Gym by 5:30, my own gym now. Work by 8, home by 6. Cooked my own meals, kept the house clean. No drama, no accusations, no walking on eggshells. Dave called about 8 months later. Apologized. Said Hazel felt bad about how they'd handled things. Asked if we could grab coffee. I told him I'd think about it. Haven't called back yet. Met someone about 3 months after the divorce. Elise. Accountant at a firm downtown. Matched on an app. Talked for 2 weeks before meeting up. First date was coffee that turned into dinner that turned into walking around the city until midnight. She asked about my divorce on the 3rd date. I told her everything. The drugs, the boyfriend, the false accusation, the slap, the night in holding, the footage. including the gap, the hearings, the documentation war, all of it. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet. That must have been terrifying. Before the footage cleared you. It was. Even with the footage, it took months before anyone believed me. But you had documentation. I did. She nodded slowly. I think that says something about you. That you planned for the worst. That you kept records. She smiled. I'm the same way. Accountant brain. Paper trails make me feel safe. We got married 12 months ago. Small ceremony. 20 people. My parents. Her parents. A few friends from work. My lawyer was there. Invited him out of spite, but also genuine gratitude. She's 7 months pregnant now. Boy. Still arguing about names. I want Oliver. She wants James. We'll figure it out. Saturday afternoon. 2 years after the basement incident. Middle of cleaning the gutters. Ladder against the house, bucket of sludge hanging off the side. Elise is inside sorting through baby clothes. Phone started buzzing. 5 missed calls from an unknown number. Then doorbell camera notification. Climbed down. Pulled up the app expecting a delivery driver. Instead, beat-up Honda Civic parked across the street. Not in the driveway, just sitting there. Watched for a minute. Nobody got out. Then Colette's door opened. She stepped halfway out, looked at the house, got back in. Waited another 30 seconds. Finally, both of them got out. Delaney's 18 now. Legal adult. Both looked rough. Colette's hair needed a cut. Clothes hanging loose. Delaney's outfit didn't fit right. Thrift store quality. Body language screamed desperation. They walked up to the neighbor's house first. Wrong address. Realized their mistake. Backtracked. Stood at the end of my driveway for another 20 seconds, having what looked like an argument. Then finally started walking toward the door. Inside. Told Elise someone was at the door. She glanced at the camera feed, and her expression tightened. She knew who they were. Grabbed 2 things from my office. The restraining order paperwork, half filled out, ready to file. And the resource sheet I'd printed months ago. Shelters. Food banks. Job placement. Social services. Opened the front door before they could ring. Stood in the doorframe. Didn't invite them in. Still had gutter muck on my gloves. Awkward silence. Nobody knew who should talk first. Colette cleared her throat. Started talking. Stumbled over words. How hard things had been. Lost her job. Wait, she already said that part. Started again. Apartment too expensive on unemployment. Made mistakes. Sorry. Stopped mid-sentence like she forgot what came next. Delaney stood behind her, staring at the ground. Kept shifting her weight foot to foot. Held up my hand after about a minute of rambling. What do you need? Colette's face got desperate. Rent due Tuesday. Short $1,500, just to get through the month. Just until she got back on her feet. She'd pay it back. Then she trailed off again. Started the same sentence twice. Delaney spoke for the first time, voice cracking. Community college classes weren't covered by financial aid. Needed money for books. The university scholarships were all gone. Everyone withdrawn after background checks. She was trying to start over, but everything cost money and... She finally looked up and said the quiet part out loud. Her classes got dropped. Financial aid didn't cover the gap. Books weren't happening. Then she hit me with it. The college fund. I didn't correct her terminology. I just told her the truth. That money didn't vanish. It didn't get spent on a boat or a revenge vacation or whatever story they'd been telling themselves. It got reassigned. Rolled into my son's 529 the second he existed on paper. Watching them process that was educational. You can't handle the truth, but make it IRS compliant. While they talked, Colette's eyes drifted past me. Through the entryway, new floors, new paint, new furniture. Kept looking around like she was cataloging everything. Then her gaze landed on Elise walking past the hallway. Hand on her belly. Baby bump visible. Something broke behind Colette's eyes. Delaney saw it too. Her voice cracked harder. You moved on. You have a whole new family. Said it like an accusation. Held out the resource sheet. Colette just stared at it. Didn't take it right away. Had to push it toward her again before she finally grabbed it. Everything you need is on that list. Most are walk-in. The women's shelter on Ashland has job placement services. United Way has emergency rent assistance programs. She looked down at the paper. Back up at me. We don't need charity programs. We need help from family. Pulled the restraining order paperwork from behind my back. Let her see the letterhead. Let her see both their names filled in. You were warned after the last contact. Certified mail. You signed for it. My attorney files this Monday if you contact me again. Then I looked at Delaney. All you had to do was take the grounding. 2 weeks, no phone, That was the whole punishment for doing drugs with a grown man in my basement. Instead, you accused me of assault. Your mother slapped me and called 911 without asking a single question. I spent a night in a holding cell, lost a promotion I'd worked 3 years for, had friends ghost me, had to fight for months just to get people to stop looking at me like a predator, all because you were embarrassed. Her face crumpled. Real tears now. I was angry. I wasn't thinking. I didn't remember the camera. That's the part that kills me. You didn't think. You didn't remember. Which means if there hadn't been footage, you would have been fine with me going to prison. You would have watched my life get destroyed and just lived with it, as long as you got revenge for being embarrassed. She didn't have an answer. Doorbell cameras recording right now. Both of you need to leave. Colette grabbed Delaney's arm, the same arm Tate had grabbed 2 years ago. Started pulling her toward the car, both crying now. Delaney stumbled going down the porch steps, caught herself on the railing. Colette stopped about halfway to the car, turned back, opened her mouth, closed it again. Finally managed, I was protecting my daughter. What was I supposed to believe? You were supposed to ask. She stood there for another few seconds, like she wanted to say something else, then just turned around and kept walking. Got back in their car. Sat there for almost a full minute before Colette started the engine, pulled away slow, watched them turn at the corner, closed the door, locked it, then walked back outside and finished what I was doing. Tested the last gutter section, water flowing properly. Climbed down, rinsed the bucket, put the ladder back in the garage. Elise came out when I was washing my hands at the utility sink, put her hand on my shoulder, didn't say anything, just stood there. You okay? Yeah. She squeezed once, didn't push. Made dinner that night. Steaks on the grill. She made a salad with that goat cheese she likes. We sat on the back deck watching the sun go down. Baby kicked during her afternoon nap, hard enough to wake her up. She showed me the spot on her belly where he'd been going at it. 3 days later, my lawyer called. Colette filed paperwork, motion for modification of the divorce settlement, claims financial hardship, wants more money. You're kidding? I'm not. She's representing herself. Couldn't afford counsel. Motion's sloppy, but it's on the docket. Fight it or settle? Fight it. She got what the court approved. There's no basis for modification just because she's broke. The judge denied her motion 6 weeks later. In the ruling, he cited the false allegation as the originating cause of the breakdown, cited Delaney's signed recantation, cited the documented misconduct, said the original settlement was more than fair, and there was no changed circumstance warranting modification. She appealed. Appeal denied at the appellate level 4 months later. Case closed. Permanently. Haven't heard from either of them since. Life moved on. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.